Alright, so I have been having people ask me about little Squishy. Here's my little Squishy. He's the one that got to change the water. But that's how big he got. And we're just feeding him pellets. Pond pellets. Actually, goldfish pond pellets is what we just got the alternative to feeding him. He ate shrimp. He used to eat tilapia. He eats the crayfish. When the crayfish pass away, you know, we find them the same day. He eats those guys right there. He's huge. See, my honey's feeding him right now. You see how the water's not all the way to the top? The water's not all the way to the top because it's a big old dome. His head humps up so high off of his eyeball that when we fill the water to the top, he hits his head on the top. He's about 3 or 4 years old now. Probably going to be 4 years old this year. I always said I was going to write the year of his birthday on the or the day we got him on the tank, and I never did. That's a big boy though. He loves his mama too. His mama be taking care of him, spoiling him. Alright, now these are my wife's koi over here. That one right there is probably about a 6-inch koi. That's probably a 4-inch. That's probably about 5-inch, 5.5-inch koi. She just fed those guys also. Now their water's not filled to the top. Let me explain this one to you. Because when we got them, they were in like a pond and they were small. So if we filled the water all the way up, they wouldn't come up to grab the food when my wife opens the thing. So you got the water a little bit lower and now they come up to grab the food. That's the biggest one we got right there, but that's the coolest one because one side of his face is black and one side of his face is white. It looks like two separate fish when they swim in the other way. See? His half and half face. This one just got an orange spot on his head. And then that's the biggest one right there. That's a 55-gallon tank. One of the side of the bulb's blown out. Actually, those are LEDs that blown out. So, believe it or not, that them 3 little kois of water is so much more filthier than this guy's water. This guy's water is a lot cleaner. I got to do more partials on them koi than I got to do on this guy right here. Now here's the crayfish. They think they're getting fed right now because they seen my wife feeding everybody else. But they're in for a surprise of their life. These big crayfish are coming out of here and they're going in the bottom of this tank right here with the koi because we got those guys right there. Those guys are what are they called? Pea Pod Puffers. Pea Pod Puffers. They're 5 Pea Pod Puffers. All they get is 1 inch. And they're completely fresh water. They're not brackish at all. Completely fresh water. So I got to get a 5-gallon bucket and put some of these guys in with half water, well, actually 3/4 of their water and 1/4 of their water, and I gotta start acclimating these guys to that one. Now I'm gonna get even the medium sized one. See that guy right there growing pretty big? I'm gonna get all the bigger ones. The smaller ones I'll leave in here because they won't harm these little ones. But I'm afraid, even though they're vegetarians, for those guys right there to eat the Pea Pod Puffers. So let me get a 5-gallon bucket. Now I know for a fact there's no heater in that one, and this one is on like 70 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I filled the bucket just barely enough at the bottom where the crayfish are going to be in here, and they're going to be completely covered. But I'm going to leave it on the basement floor so it could cool down, and I'm going to put these guys in this tank right here. While I'm waiting for this bucket to cool down, they've been in this water down here when it was 64 degrees, so I know they can take the cold. They weren't multiplying as much, but I know they'll multiply in there in summertime because it gets warmer down in here. So I'm going to let these guys go in here while it cool down, and I'm going to start acclimating these guys right here. And the same, I'm going to get all this PVC and put the PVC in that tank right there. Alright, there's some of the crayfish I had. And that's not even all of them. That one looks like it's on eggs because her tail's folded all the way under. See that one? That one's probably on eggs. See how her tail is? And there's still tons of babies in there, but they're pretty small. So I actually think these guys might be able to eat those guys right there. So I don't know. But I told my wife I owe her a different koi tank because I put all those in the bottom of her tank right now. This way it gives the crayfish somewhere to hide. For right now, it gives the crayfish somewhere to hide. I had them in the garbage can with a huge goldfish, and believe it or not, about 6 or 7 of them still were able to live down there with the goldfish. So I want to put them in that tank right now, and these I'm gonna start acclimating these right here to this tank. And like I said, there's a lot of babies still left in there, but they're tiny. See, there's some right there. They're tiny ones, so I actually think the puffers might eat them. Alright, here's the crayfish right here. And I'm actually going to put them in this right here. I owe my wife another koi tank because, oh, there's tons of babies in here still. Look at it. I have to get them by hand. Oh, they're fighting me. Did they get them all? Let's see if we see them jumping around in here. Oh man, I just hit the damn back tank with my butt and I felt it move. The crayfish are hiding already. Look at him. Already went in the castle, see? They're hiders. There's a little crayfish right there. Going back to the castle, right there, hiding back. They're already going to hide. You can't even tell there's any crayfish in there anymore. Look, there's one at the top. That meathead stood right there at the top. Now there's some little ones in here, but this is where the figure 8s are. I'm letting them get used to the water in here. That's not a good sign. All of them clamp their tails like they're shocked.
Where are they?
I'm not going to turn the light on in here. I'm going to leave it dark for them. And we'll check them in the morning time. But look at, they all close their tails. There goes one right there. See? They all got their tails closed. Oh man, that was a nightmare. We started just by changing out the crayfish from one tank to the next tank. And then turned out, wind up cleaning the 10-gallon tank because them crayfish were a lot more filthy than I thought. And then since we were doing that tank, we might as well have done his tank. So we were here without this python. It would have been a nightmare. This python makes it so much easier. But right now this tank is all cloudy right there because I was trying not to get the rest of the little babies that were in there. And then all the way over here in the corner, you can see there's 5 puffers. So we'll get a better shot of them either tonight or tomorrow morning. Alright, crayfish are out and about. They're moving around. There's one right there. Then there's a big one behind the pirate ship. Oh, there's a big one hiding in right in there. I'm going to turn the heat on right here, and all 5 of these guys are doing alright. I don't know if you see them, how tiny they are. These guys right here eat bloodworms. They're Pea Pod Puffers. 5 Pea Pod Puffers. Each one of them is only going to get about 1 inch big. Look at, they're all swimming around and everything really good already. Babe, their fins are open and everything already now. You hear me? 5 Pea Pod Puffers. They get like 1 inch. Now those were $7 each. They had the ones that get 3 inches, and those were $25 each. And then they had the one that got 3 feet, and that was $300. $300. So this guy right here is happy. His tank is clean. He's about 2 feet, 2.5 feet long now. He's a big sucker. That's my little squishy. He's about 4 years old now. So I just don't like the koi tank looks extra crowded right now that I put the crayfish in there. But at least the koi are big enough where they're not going to mess with... Well, the crayfish might snip their fins at nighttime. I don't know, but they don't seem scared at all. They're out and about, see? And then there's, look, there's baby crayfish that should be doing okay because they're gonna mesh in with the color of the gravel. Those are baby crayfish. So if I put more stuff in the bottom, the crayfish will be able to use the bottom. Oh, I gotta see if that one's stuck on there. Look at that one's on the filter. No, he just swam around to the back of it. Oh, okay, he's down. He was just eating the stuff on the filter. Here I thought he was stuck to it. He just jumped off really fast. So either way, that was our day working with our fish right now. And I'll update you on the rest of them. On what's happening, what's going on, what other things. I wanted to get my pond back. You know, back here, I had like a 4-foot by 9-foot pond where all those cinder blocks were and everything. With all these koi and these crayfish, I'm thinking about putting that back. It was a nice sized pond, and this was inside of our house, but I had plastic up here and it was like isolated. I had a fan in there, so I didn't want the humidity and all the mildew in the house. So that was years back. So I might go ahead and do that again, so the koi could have more room, because you know those suckers are going to get bigger than what they are. That one's actually a really nice colored one right there. Look at them. And then these guys, I'm going to tell my wife to get some bloodworms so she could give those guys right there. Okay, so here's the 5 guys right there. See how the little crayfish in there still are babies. That's a bloodworms. That's what they said they've been feeding them. The tank's still cloudy because I did a partial on it. I gotta get super close to these guys. Pea Pod Puffers is what they're called. So the worms are actually coming apart already. They're frozen bloodworms is what I got. I'm probably my whole bunch of them. Normally, the crazy thing is when I had my catfish could smell the bloodworms and actually devour them. See, the bloodworms are coming apart. Those guys, I wonder if they're going to go after the bloodworms. They got to get used to their feeding time. Now these are just straight freshwater puffers. They're not, look at them, like a school of fish. They're straight freshwater. They're not brackish. The other ones are brackish. These are completely freshwater. And I bought 7 because they were actually swimming in a decent school, and they're actually pretty hardy because you see the water, everything they went through right now, and they're doing pretty good. They're not going after their food yet. Their food is there, and it's coming down little by little. This guy's wishing he had their food. Oh, 5. When it's credit me 5, I was gonna get 7. But I figured if they got an inch with a 10-gallon, they should be okay swimming in a 10-gallon if there's 5 of them. Oh, here, the bloodworms are coming apart now. Look at this guy. This guy's bold. Or this girl. They're all females, my crayfish. She's out and about. Long hair, don't care. Look at her. Alright, I'm going to end it here. I was waiting for them to see if they came to the front to eat, but they did not come to the front to eat. They're still swimming all on the back of the tank, trying to get into the decoration at the back. But the good thing is they're not clamped anymore. Like I said, when I first put them in there, their tail's clamped, and if anybody knows fish, when their tail is clamped, that's not a good sign. So their tails are fanned open in the back, and they're all together as a school now, going around searching the whole tank. There's one that veers off every now and then but goes back. So that would be the me of the crowd. Let's see, the crayfish are doing pretty good over there. They're getting around. Hauling the tank, filling that out. I feel bad because I took room from the koi, so I got to get the koi some better space. This guy right here is always doing good. It's my baby right here. Now, like I said, these guys are all the way in the back of the tank. They're all the way in the back, and their food's right there. So I'm not even going to feed them tomorrow because that looks like more than enough food for them. Alright, either way, I'll keep you updated on my new fish, or the new fish, our new fish. Alright, take it easy. Bye-bye.